All right, welcome on Hit or Miss. I am your host, Night Strike. Thank you all for tuning in. Uh, we've got a small panel this evening, even though I have a lot of invites out. But hey, it's the 4th of July. It's the 4th of July tomorrow, so I'm not expecting much. So everybody's busy doing their own thing. Anyways, let's go through the room. Who we have? First up, we have the ever elusive Mr. I Love Living in New Jersey, AWAC 1000.
Yeah, I totally love living here. I just love it so much. I just want to stay here forever. Thanks. Thanks for the invite.
You do sound like you love it. You love it so much.
Yeah, totally. I love it so much.
Good. I'm glad you do. And then next up, we've got live from the SUV/van. We've got Roll Call 319.
What's going on, man? Thanks for the invite. I'm sweating my balls off.
Hey, I was sweating my balls off this afternoon. That's a different story for another time. So, what are we doing? What Roll Call? What are we doing? Are we canceling Ransom Rays? Are we doing something else? What's going on?
If you're gonna wake up early in the morning on Sundays for morning roll call, you're more than welcome to come on the show, because that's the only time I can do it. By the time I get everything done at night, I gotta go to work. So it would be like the shortest freaking show ever, and there's no point in doing a show. So it would be Sunday mornings, right before everything kicks off and everybody does their shit. It'll be on Sunday mornings now. We might be. Try it, like 8 o'clock ish.
8 o'clock ish Eastern or Central?
It would be Central. It would be 9 o'clock your time.
Okay. I could probably swing that.
As long it's up to you. Anybody is welcome. Whoever's available.
I just don't want you to drop me because Ransom Rays was our thing.
Yeah, but I mean that's for nighttime when we start talking shit about all these people that are douchebags.
We're not supposed to tell them that. All right, we got Sandhill Shooter here as well. What's going on?
Good evening. Thanks for the invite. Not much going on here tonight. Getting ready for hopefully a day of not doing much tomorrow. Take advantage of a holiday. Thank you for all the veterans for keeping my country free and giving me a reason to celebrate tomorrow.
Yep. And last but not least, live from the workplace, we have Squib.
No, I'm last and least. Yeah, greetings from Michigan.
All right. And
take me to your leader.
We've got Stealth Hunter 1000 out there on the YouTube side. We have Scott P79. We got Willie Bulletman, Philo, Tina Liberty Cat is saying hi. Hello, Tina.
Hi, Tina.
Who else? Atypical Jake is out there. What's going on, Jake? Who else do we have? Rock Humper is out there. Watch out. All right, so I've been dealing with, a pain in the ass web server today. So the only upside to this whole day was friends came over and we shot a lot of guns out in the backyard. American. So, what did you guys? Do you guys have any news? Anything any topics we can talk about? Does anybody want to send us any questions on the email side? We'll answer them. We'll just kind of play this off the cuff.
I kind of got a little bit of a topic tonight. Forget what law it is, but it's a law in New Jersey. We're going to talk about New Jersey gun laws. It's kind of got me bothered a little bit, and it's one of those stupid little red flag laws. It's essentially something that, say, if you go to the doctors and you want to be an honest person, say if you're religiously bound to telling the truth to whatever you do, and the doctor asks you, do you have any guns in the house? And you say yes, because you're being honest. It's like, hey, I have a 22 rifle, or you don't even have to specify sometimes. If that doctor is anti-gun, like the doctor can basically write on his sheet that you are unfit to own firearms, and that would be his choice. And then New Jersey SWAT and state troopers will come crashing through your door in the middle of the night, take all your stuff, and probably leave you with a wounded dog, and maybe a wounded you. And yeah, so I mean, I don't know how much there is to talk about, but everybody tells I'm kind of in a predicament. I don't like this red flag law, because another thing too is it can basically make anybody off the street, say you bring a gun from your vehicle to your house to put it away, and your neighbor sees you and you don't talk to your neighbor at all. Your neighbor thinks that you're a menace to society.
Well, just put an NRA sticker on your car. That'll fix it, right?
It may make it worse. Like, who knows?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I've already said so much about New Jersey that, I'm blue in the face. So. You've got mail.
But I just feel like New Jersey is one of those states that it's like, oh, that happened in New Jersey, whatever. I mean, everybody kind of gives the attention to California, even though their gun laws are even worse than here. Even it's getting there though here. But
How would you like to live somewhere that if you went to the grocery store with a big orange sticker on your T-shirt that said "Guns Save Lives," and you went to the checkout, the girls at checkout flirted with you and said, "I like the sticker on your shirt."
Dude, where do I sign up?
Go to Ohio. When I went down there for the 2A rally, they were handing out stickers. I put one on my T-shirt. I forgot about it. I stopped on the way home to pick up some beer that they sell in Ohio. They don't sell in Michigan. And just at the regular grocery store. And the girl, she just smiled. And, I like your sticker on your shirt. I mean, I didn't go in there, saying any 2A stuff, or I didn't have any. I was wearing a River's Edge tactical shirt because I was in Ohio, but it's just it wasn't necessarily a rural area. I mean, it was somewhat out of Columbus, but it was big enough to have a 24-hour grocery store, and it just I think there's probably more pro-gun people outside of the cities there than you might think. So
I have obligatory. Shall not be infringed.
Yes, shall not be infringed.
I mean, I like getting on the MOVE committee with not just with you, but with anybody who's in the commie states. But just to let you know, there are places in America where you can live and not be far from commuting to a city that's got lots of work and lots of infrastructure, where people don't mind you having guns, where people don't think it's unusual for you to put a case rifle in the back of your truck because you're going down to the gun range that afternoon or something like that. There are places in America. There's still plenty of places like that.
Yeah, it's just it's so hard now that I got it's a very unique job that is walking distance from my house. My boss is very pro-gun, so I have that going for me, and he lives secluded. So his business is pretty secluded from everything else, but it's still the fact that if I want to go to the range, I essentially have to do it in fear of somebody getting scared that I have a case, that I drag a case out of my car, because I have 2 sports cars, and they're not the most graceful things to pull things out of the trunk. So
I wouldn't necessarily call a broken Supra a sports car.
yeah, it's a sports car. It definitely is a
Wait.
sports car.
I think I need to give you some range etiquette. When you're going to an outdoor range or gun club, you show up in a pickup truck or an SUV, and not a two-wheel drive one either. You don't show up in a car.
Well, this is New Jersey. There is no off-road in New Jersey.
No,
He's
it's
got
not
a
that.
point
It's just
there.
when you show up to an outdoor range or a gun club, you got to show up in a 4x4 pickup or 4x4 SUV. Otherwise, it just don't look right, man. It's just etiquette.
You know what I say to that? Run your bolt, not your mouth.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. New Jersey
Banter.
is making me
Cringe.
yeah.
Want to die inside?
Yeah.
'Cause
So let's
trust me,
let's
I'm already
move
there.
on. All right. I've seen this in the news. I wanted to go over it, but I wasn't sure whether I should or not. But
Do it.
you guys have all heard about what China said they've done, right?
China? No, I haven't. Enlighten
Yeah.
me.
Apparently, China has started to claim that they've successfully made a laser AK-47.
Yo! Where can I buy a parts kit?
I don't know. China has developed a new portable laser weapon that can zap a target from nearly a kilometer away, according to researchers involved in the project. The ZKZM 500 laser assault rifle is classified as being non-lethal, but produces an energy beam that cannot be seen by the naked eye, but can pass through various windows and cause instant carbonization of human skin and tissue. 10 years ago, its capabilities would have been the preserve of sci-fi films. But one laser weapon scientist said the new device is able to burn through clothes in a split second if the fabric is flammable. The whole person will be set on fire.
Neat.
There's no image, but again, it's a laser AK-47 apparently.
Huh.
Good job, China. You know, for
Woo,
making
China.
the world even more dangerous. We appreciate it.
Don't you mean
what-
more safer?
Well, it'd only be safer if we had it.
Well, let's make a laser AR-15 then.
All right. I'm looking through the news, seeing if there's anything we can go over. I'm not seeing much. Let me see. Oh, the news is not good.
What's the prognosis, doctor?
It's not going to live.
Rip.
So apparently, the Maryland governor candidate Ben Jealous has suggested a ban on shotguns. Maryland.
Why?
Yeah, the Democrat candidate for governor in Maryland, former NAACP president Ben Jealous, which here's the thing, he doesn't look African American to me. Just saying.
You might need to bring up a picture.
All right, I'll just screen share. But this dude does not look African American to me.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
So, but apparently he was the former president of the NAACP. So whatever. But anyways, let's read this. All right. So the Democrat candidate for governor of Maryland, former NAACP president Ben Jealous, has implied that the state's extreme gun control laws, already some of the most oppressive in the nation, don't go far enough. On NBC and MSNBC recently, he said the following: "We will, in the next Maryland legislative session, have to have a real conversation about how we finish the job here of our assault weapons ban. But we have to go much further. Journalists were killed with a shotgun. Oh my.
What? With a
To
shot.
the Maryland situation.
Next, they're gonna just.
Fortunately, no one on the left wants to take Americans' guns away, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
The Annapolis Capital Gazette shooter used a shotgun. Shotguns are extremely popular in the United States. Cartridge shotguns have been actively produced for over 150 years and make up about 1/3 of private firearms stock. There are over 100 million shotguns in private hands in the country. What Jealous is attempting to accomplish with this message, a recent poll found that Maryland voters are evenly split on who they trust on the issue of gun violence. From WBalt.com, Cromer oversaw the survey of 617 Marylanders who were asked, why do you have more confidence who do you have more confidence in to handle the issue of gun violence, the Republican governor or the Democrats? The answer was statistically equal split of 39% favoring Governor Larry Hogan and 40% favoring the Democrats. Well, that's not even, but that's close.
Yes, because banning things solves violence.
Yeah, because, crime rate doesn't go up when you ban things, right?
Yeah, totally.
All right. The message that shotguns need to be banned, be on the banned firearms list in Maryland, doesn't strike me as something that will bring Democrat voters to the polls. And it seems the thing to energize Second Amendment supporters. Jealous doesn't seem particularly well versed in the intricacies of firearm nomenclature and technology. If he attempts to finesse this gaffe, he's likely to make it worse. This is a common problem for people who are ignorant about guns and have the choice to be unarmed. They see no value in firearms, so they see no cost in disarming others. After all, it doesn't cost them anything. What Jealous and those like him seem to overlook is that those who own guns and care about their Second Amendment freedoms are not willing or easily disarmed. That's the end of the article.
Well, here's a little inkling of thought. It's one of those I forget the term for it, but it's one of those very dark thoughts that just kind of like pop into your brain for like a split second and then disappear. This one just kind of like stayed with me for a while, and I'm just like thinking to myself, just Democrats, just do it already. Just verbally ban all firearms in the United States. Just do it. See what happens. But, if they do that, bad things will happen. So I don't condone that. But, I mean, if you want to do it, go for it.
More of a just try it and see what happens type of an attitude, you mean?
Yeah. Try me.
Yeah, let's hope it never actually comes to that, right?
Yeah, I hope it doesn't happen either.
Yeah, well, with leftists calling, or with Democrats and leftists calling everyone on their side to go and go after anyone they know that is a pro-Trump or Republican. Why are these people still getting elected?
How? It's my question. Like,
I seriously have to wonder how stupid someone would be to vote for someone who is saying actively inciting violence. Why would you vote for someone who is inciting violence against another person who's not doing anything but eating at a restaurant?
Because they supported the person that they hate. The liberal side has this hate for Donald Trump, not necessarily for something he said or done. It's just they hate him. He could cure cancer. He could bring world peace. He could win a Nobel Prize. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it, right? They'd still hate him because he's not Bernie Sanders. And I don't say not Hillary. They wanted Bernie Sanders. They wanted him so bad. And some of them were so angry that they wouldn't even vote for Hillary because they wanted Bernie. They just hate Trump because he's Trump, because he's not Sanders. That's all. And they're ignorant of a lot of things. I'm not saying the man is a saint. And there's plenty of people on, air quotes, our side who thinks he can do no wrong like he walks on water. And it's not that either. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, whatever. All presidents do good and bad things. All presidents are human, and they're, I mean, whether they're politicians or whether they're peanut farmers, they make choices, they make decisions, and some of it's going to be popular with some people and some's going to be unpopular with others. And you just take the good with the bad and you hope that the next guy does better, or gal, or whatever. But some of these people just can't deal with it. And these are the people that say they're better than us. These are the people that say that they're more intelligent than us. They're more peaceful than us, that they care more than us. But yet they're the ones that are inciting this violence, and we're just sitting there taking it. Now, I'm not saying we should necessarily react. If anything, if we want to be the opposite of what they say we are, which is a bunch of heathens, which we're not, then I think the fact that we don't react is probably, yeah, I know we say things, but I mean, we're not like throwing bottles and bricks and shooting and do, you know, all these rioting things that they're talking about doing. Or what I don't like, though, is when somebody who's conservative stands up for their conservative beliefs and they're chastised, but then 10 years later, somebody who's liberal does more or less the same thing, but from the liberal side, and they're, you know, considered a hero. It's like, no, both sides are right. You're standing up for what you believe in. Just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean that you're necessarily wrong. Well, there are people in this world who can't think like that. It's sad. It sucks, because at the end of the day, we're all Americans.
Yeah. So another topic I want to talk about is I think it was at one of the colleges or something, but there was a pro. I don't think it was pro Second Amendment rally, but I think it was a pro freedom rally, and Antifa went and tried to basically break up the party. The rally.
How is Antifa still a thing?
I know. I'm wondering why they aren't arrested or not. Why they aren't arrested in jail, but apparently they're still a thing. And they tried to, you know, use nightsticks and other weapons to attack these Freedom Rally people, which I guess they're Trump supporters, I guess. And they started attacking the Trump supporters. And you know what? Something happened that they weren't expecting. You know what that was?
What? I hope it's beautiful.
They weren't expecting the Trump supporters to fight back and knock their asses down to the ground.
Yeah, those Antifa dudes got laid out. Like everyone that came up there and tried to provoke. What was the other guy's name? The Patriot Prayer people or whatever. Doesn't matter. They just got laid out. That one big old dude knocked that guy out that had that stick. He tried to swipe at him with it because it wasn't really like he was using it for what it was intended for. And he just, and then they, and well, if you look at that,
the reason why, you know, he did that is because there were a group of Antifa people beating up on a defenseless person on the street, on the ground. You know, they were kicking the shit out of him. They were using nightsticks on this person on the ground because they didn't have any weapons. They couldn't fight back, but they were getting attacked by a bunch of assholes. And I'm just going to go out there and say it. They were getting attacked by a bunch of assholes. Yes, they're Antifa.
That small of a freaking...
But they're assholes. And the thing is, that guy told them to stop, and they wouldn't stop. One of them went after him with a nightstick, and he knocked the guy on the ground. So,
what place am I going to now?
What I don't understand is, how did the Antifa people get into the mix with weapons when I've seen videos on YouTube where police were checking the other side of the conflict, and they were confiscating stuff and said, well, if we find this, and this on you, you're going to go to jail. And how did the Antifa people get in there with, you know, clubs and fireworks and all that other stuff?
Chase, put that back.
So, but again, apparently at the end of it, yeah, some of the Trump supporters did get arrested, but they were released the next day because someone actually took footage of the whole situation and showed that they were only fighting back in defense. They weren't the instigators. So that is a good thing that the police are actually going after the perpetrators and not those that are innocent. Because last I checked, there's no law saying you can't defend yourself in the United States of America, because we're not a country that just turns the other cheek and lets someone beat us into a pulp. No, we had enough of that. It's called 1776. Shall not be infringed.
I do have some good news.
Oh, please. We need good news right now.
Indiana struck down the banning of quote-unquote assault rifles and high-capacity magazines. And they told the people to go kick rocks. We're not going to do that.
Yep. That's good news. That's good news. Any update on the whole permit discount or whatever?
I haven't found anything. I'm going to have to go look. I'm going to have to really dig into it. Maybe I'll do that tonight. I'll really dig into it.
Talk about though, right? Where they were going to lessen the price for permits?
Yeah, they were talking about, at first they were talking about doing away with lifetime permits. And we pretty much said that the hell with that. We're not going to do that, because you can already get a 1 to 4 year permit and just have to renew it every year, or you could pay a pretty good chunk of money and get a lifetime permit. So, you know, they wanted to get rid of the lifetime permit altogether, and then you'd have to renew it every year. And we were like, no. And then they said, well, you could get a discount on a permit, but I just don't know what the allocations are for that. I'll have to dig into that.
I don't have to renew my permit for like 5 years, so I'm good.
You should have a lifetime.
Expires 2023. And yeah, it should be lifetime. But again, you know, just because I believe in the Second Amendment doesn't mean assholes that are in charge of our government do. Because I'll tell you right now, the assholes that are in charge of our government, they don't care about anything but themselves and what makes them money, what allows them to vote on a race for themselves, what allows them to get the most spotlight for whatever they're doing to make them look good. They don't. It's those that are supposed to represent us have ceased representing us and just represent themselves. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think of Indiana as an anti-gun state. You got some kind of goofy hunting laws over there, but those aren't really, I mean, that's not anti-gun. It's just dumb. But I don't think of that state as anti-gun.
Yeah.
They've worked on the hunting laws. Like now it's set in stone that you can hunt with a handgun now. That's never going to go away. And Donnelly kind of pushed for that, and he's a Democrat, but yet he kind of pushed for that and said, you know, you can hunt with a handgun for forever now, because it used to be only seasonal that you could hunt with a handgun, but they kind of said, well, we're just going to let everybody hunt with a handgun for, you know, the end of time. So there is some shifting in pro-gun laws in Indiana, but there's still some stupid ones that they still have on the books that need to really be taken off there. But yet again, you know, Donnelly's got a lot of pull over the Republican folks, and you just got to work at it. You got to stay on them, call them, send them emails, and constantly poke and prod them, and make sure they don't fall asleep at the wheel.
Yep. All right. What else?
But-
are we doing?
For AWAG, he needs to just look into self-medication and never go to a doctor ever again.
Working on it.
I think he needs more than that, but we'll.
Whoa, okay, Dr. Night Strike.
Yeah, yes, it's Night Strike MD. There we go.
Take 2 of these shall not be in fridges and call me in the morning.
Exactly.
Take 2 of these freedom pills and call me in the morning.
I'm going to write you a prescription for the Second Amendment.
I don't think you want to take the freedom pills. You might want to administer them sometime, but the freedom pills usually are coming really, really fast at you. You don't want to take them.
Well, here's hoping. All right. Is there anything out there on the YouTube side? No, they're commenting on the Antifa thing. Yeah, I just don't have a lot of topics tonight.
I'm going to this fireworks stand, so you might have to stay tuned because I might have a fireworks show for YouTube here later on tonight.
So I have
Ooh,
to
nice.
So it used to be that in Michigan you couldn't have firecrackers. You could have sparklers and smoke bombs, so that was it, right? And the Republican governor that got elected last, he goes, all right, people are driving across the border to Indiana, buying it there, bringing it back over, and we're not catching everybody. There just aren't enough cops to catch everybody. We don't have a whole lot of fires. We do have some people go to the emergency room, but overall, it's not really creating any crime. Instead, all that tax money is going to the neighboring state. So he legalized firecrackers in Michigan, and now people don't have to go over to Indiana to go get them. And they get the sales tax here, and there hasn't been a problem. Not really. I mean, the same amount of people that end up in the emergency room with a burnt hand or something, they were going to do it anyhow. They were just going to do it, air quotes, illegally. All they would do is write you a citation. But there were just so many people out there popping firecrackers, the cops could not respond to everybody. And, yeah, the governor said, what's the difference other than we're losing tax money? So every now and then a politician can make a logical, rational decision. I'm not calling our governor a saint, but he was on the right track with that.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. There's Gen Z2A is asking, does anybody in the panel own a suppressor? I do not.
I own a fake suppressor.
That doesn't count.
I mean,
No, they charge too much for them. I mean, you got to go through all the hassle of getting the tax stamp and all that other garbage, and then they want $800 or $1,200 or something. It's like, what?
I mean,
Yeah, it's really not worth it.
yeah,
It's seriously, it's literally a pipe with washers in it. That's all it is. So, if there weren't any federal regulations and you could just go down to the store and pick one up as an accessory, because that's all it really is, right? Just like buying a set of earmuffs, so you could buy one of these. Maybe I could see them trying to charge these high prices, because at least you could go in there and go, you call it impulse buy, right? But the fact that I got to go through all these hoops and pay this tax stamp, you need to be selling this like dirt cheap to get you interested. That being said, though, there are times where it would be useful at the rim, especially are shooting next to me, the concussion from their muzzle brakes and whatnot, it's because our shooting stations are in so close. If they were further apart or had a different out in the range, it might be better. But if they through and it was a lot easier to get, and I think it would make the outdoor range a lot more pleasant.
You're breaking up something awful, Squib.
This metal building I'm in.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't own a suppressor either. I'd like to have one, but it's the money.
I mean, if they were $100, because they're not. I mean, you can make them for about $5. If they were $100, maybe. But I'm not paying $800 for an aluminum tube with washers in it.
Yeah, neither.
I like to hear Freedom ring.
Oh my. Yeah, I've got a bunch of those. I'll probably shoot some off tomorrow. All right, so anybody else? Sandhills, do you have a suppressor?
I did not have a suppressor. First, I would have to get something with threads in order to attach a suppressor to it. Then I could work on getting the suppressor.
Yeah. All right. Atypical Jake out there is saying that Tavor 7 is supposed to be out in a couple of weeks with full production in 60 to 90 days. Well, that's great if you're a Tavor fan. I am not a Tavor fan, so I'm good. Atypical Jake also says, I own one, but my stamp hasn't come in yet, hopefully in the next month. Well, I hope you get it. And Jake, I'm going to ask you, after you've gotten it, you need to document the process for us. Let us know how you what you had to go through to get the tax stamp. I know it doesn't sound exciting, but I'd like to hear about it.
Isn't a form online on the BATFE website?
I'm sure that's part of it.
I mean, you'd have to work with your FFL. I don't know. You leave a deposit and they just sit on it until they get the paperwork, or you bring the paperwork. Yeah, I guess maybe we should get some clarification on that.
Yeah. So.
There is another thing too. If you want to know what it's like to shoot a suppressed gun, go rent one at your gun range. There are gun ranges that have suppressors and on their rental guns, and then you don't have to clean the damn thing, because it is more work to clean. So
Yes, it is. But again, I can't rent one at my gun range because my gun range is my backyard.
Well, for those of us who have to pay to go to the range,
Okay.
the indoor ranges rent.
All right. You got me there.
I only shot a suppressed gun once, and SIG paid for it, so that was nice of them.
That was, yes. All right.
Oh, hey, Night Strike.
What's up?
In addition to retrofitting it with a threaded barrel, if it's not something that already has threads for muzzle device, you got to change the front sight on it, right, to clear the can?
Yeah, for some firearms, you do need to. You either need to remove the muzzle brake or the flash hider.
Well, it's like on a handgun.
A handgun.
Right? You got to change both front and rear, or just the front?
Well, with a handgun, if you don't have a threaded barrel, you have to go and get a threaded barrel for your handgun.
Yeah, but the diameter of the can is going to stick out over the top of the slide and block the front sight, right?
It depends on the can. It depends on whether you're going the cheapo route and going the oil can method. That'll do it. Or if you're going the slimline method and actually paying, an exorbitant fee for a suppressor, which I don't recommend.
Hence
But-
the $1,200 suppressor.
Yes, but that's that will let you still use your regular sights, whereas the oil filter way, which is the cheaper method, it will obstruct your sights. So, all right, let's see what people are saying out there on the YouTube side. Okay. GunZ2A is saying, Squib, I did mine at my FFL. Okay, well, that's good to know. Let's say, as Scott P79 says, as far as I know, in my area, you have to pay full price for the suppressor before you fill out your paperwork and send your $200 for your tax stamp.
Yeah. So they more or less hold it in the store, almost like a layaway, but you're paying that way they know you're not going to stiff them.
Yeah. Quite honestly, I don't think I could ever justify paying somebody that amount of money for something, waiting for something of which the government has to say yes or no on.
Government should have no play in our lives.
It's nothing that's going to make it any more dangerous. It's nothing that's going to make it any more lethal. If anything, it actually makes it safer. From the whole aspect of not making your ears ring and whatnot, right? But it's nothing that makes it easier to conceal. It's nothing that any of the negative things that law enforcement would be looking at that would be a reason they would want to restrict. A suppressor doesn't do any of it. So it's more or less, it should be over in the same aisle with the earmuffs and earplugs and iPro and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. And what's going on, Sandhills?
Oh, I have a question I'd like to throw out to the whole group. Do you think that if more people bought suppressors, and of course the government's going to have the numbers because of all the applications for tax stamps. So if more people would buy suppressors, and I mean, like if there was just a surge of applications for tax stamps and we all ordered suppressors, do you think that the government would be more likely to look at the numbers and say, look at all these suppressors all of a sudden that are, owned, and we're not seeing an uptick in crime committed with them?
No, not at all.
Would it be more of a case of, look at all the extra money we've gained in tax stamps, we'd be stupid to take these off of the NFA? Or would it be neither?
I just think they don't care because they're not really accountable to anything. They don't get to keep the money. Money probably goes to the general accounting office or something like that. And it's not like it goes directly in their pockets. They don't get a bonus on it. And people have been buying these things for decades. I mean, it's not mainstream per se because it's been kind of taboo, right? But these people have been getting tax stamps and buying these things for decades. And the more people that get on YouTube and find out about this sort of thing, and they go, oh, what? I can do that? There's for a long time people thought they were illegal, and through social media and stuff, people are learning more and more. Sometimes it's not good information, but when it is good information, they go, I didn't even know. Oh, I've got tons of money. I can shell out all this extra, and they go get one, and now it's their toy, or whatever it is. So you hear all kinds of people on the different shows bragging about all the cans that they own, right? So I think they're more mainstream than ever. And with that being the case, I just think the government looks at numbers and goes, meh, because there's no incentive for them to do anything in any direction.
I would totally buy them too if it wasn't such a hassle. And that's my biggest hang up for owning one. I mean, I would consider buying a threaded barrel, and dropping it into my Glock 19. I'd buy an aftermarket barrel that's threaded if it wasn't such a pain in the butt to get a suppressor to put on it. But right now, and it's not even the $200. If I can buy a suppressor, I can probably come up with the extra 200 to get the stamp. It's just such a hassle of, again, having to apply for the thing, wait for the government to decide it's okay that I have it, and then the better part of a year later, I get a phone call that says, "Hey, your tax stamp's here. You can come get this thing that you paid me for months ago."
The government doesn't care either way. Think about the last time you were at the DMV to renew your registration or to renew your driver's license. Do you think they cared that they made you wait to pay them? Or think about the last time the U.S. Post Office lost your mail and never could find it. Do you think they care? They don't. And I'm not trying to badmouth our government. We still live in the greatest country on the earth. And just like any other job, you've got people that care about their job, and then you got people who just show up and collect a check. But when you work for the government, there's not a lot of incentive to perform. And they really don't care. And they think everybody knows what they know. They think everybody knows what goes on in the back room and all the rules and regulations and job stress. It's like the general public doesn't know what it takes to get a package from point A to point B, or how much paperwork is involved in registering a vehicle or whatnot. And
Right.
So that's just an example of, if they don't care about those things, they definitely don't care about your tax stamp. So.
Well, whether they care or not, it's the law, and I have to apply for it and get it before I can have a suppressor. So it's in my mind, it's not about whether or not anybody cares. I care that it's a pain in my butt, which is why I don't do it. And
yeah, but if they cared, they would be more inclined to look at the numbers, to look at the data, to go to somebody and go, "Hey, boss, we've been doing this for what, 60, 70, almost 80 years?"
Well, sure, I don't expect that as an institution, they're just going to up and look at numbers one day and say, "Hey, do you guys realize that this is happening?" No, we would have to get in touch with our lawmakers and have them look into it, and we could. I mean, I'm just curious if everybody started, making a run on suppressors, and we all bought one, and I don't mean just the 6 of us here, 5 of us here in this chat, but I mean, as a whole, if gun owners started buying more suppressors, would we have a leg to stand on that we could talk to our local legislators, state, federal, whatever they are, and say, "Look, these things aren't being used for crimes, and look how many more there are in circulation now. Can we please get rid of the stupid tax stamp that's more of a, back when in 1934, I could see $200 was prohibitive. Today, it's a nuisance. It's not the 200 as much as it is the application process and the wait."
Look at how many people have bought guns in the past since 9/11, right? Look at the numbers of 4473s they're processing every month, and it's, set a new record, blah, blah, blah. Have the states, have there been more anti-gun laws passed by states since then? Yes, there have been. So I don't think firearms ownership or purchases or interest in it does as much to get them to say, "This law is stupid, we should get rid of it." They're just, the evidence is just there with the numbers. I'm not saying we should just roll over and quit. No, absolutely not. But I don't think you're going to see any of this stuff go away unless they pass legislation, like the Hearing Protection Act or something.
I guess that's I don't know. I'm thinking about this as I talk to, as we discuss this, but that goes back to, we need to get the right people in those offices and vote the ones out that aren't doing the job that we ask them to, because they represent us. And us would like to get some of these things taken off the NFA. Right. So, I mean, that if we could all band together and show the solidarity, as a community, the pro-gun community, I'm not saying that we should all go out and buy a suppressor and spend money we don't have, but I think that if everybody would show more interest, and then we could, again, get everybody out to the polls and vote in the elections, I think we could have a voice that we could make heard. The problem is we've discussed this at length. Our community spends way too much time arguing with each other over shot placement versus
Shotgun
stopping
versus
pool.
AR-15 versus what?
1911 versus Glock, and none of that matters if we're going to get them taken away anyway. So I think if we all learned how to work together, we'd be an unstoppable force.
We'd still have those disagreements, whether they be in jest or whether they be serious, if they got rid of all gun laws altogether. If they got rid of every single gun law and we didn't have to worry about fighting for our rights at all, we'd still be bickering about external safeties and 45 versus 9mm and all that. That's just part of what we do. I don't think that takes away from the effort to rally together to legislate. There's just certain things that the people in office, no matter who we elect, really just don't care about. I know you say it's not their job to care. I'm sure you're right. It's not their job to care. But I mean, it's really a non-issue to them.
No, it is.
Regardless of all the data and facts that you can bring, all the reality, and look at the numbers. Look. Okay, yeah, this is nice. They're more interested in other things. It's just the way it is. It sucks, but it's just the way it is.
No, I agree. But it is their job to care. I mean, again, if they represent us, but they don't know who we are necessarily, because, again, there are so few people that are willing to make waves or rock the boat. And I'm not even going to have the discussion about who's a FUD and who's not. I'm just saying, even the people who are dead on, Second Amendment advocates, there's a lot of people who don't want to call a lot of attention to themselves and say, hey, let's do something about this and listen to me. So I don't know. I don't know that there's a way to do it. I just wish that the gun community as a whole, we could get everybody together and make a stronger voice, not depend on the GOA or NRA, not depend on all the organizations, and thank God for all of them, even the ones that we don't always agree with. But I think that if we could all just make our individual voices heard, it would be great. And I know that's a big if. I get that.
A big if? That's the big one? That's like a snowball's chance in hell if.
Well, I understand that. I just wish it could happen. That's like if we could get all the guns out of the criminals' hands, then we could talk about common sense gun laws, but we know that that's not going to happen either.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as a common sense gun law. There is no such thing.
Well, common sense to me means no gun laws.
Common sense to me is basically you get punished very severely if you commit a crime with a firearm.
Well, even that is subjective. I'm not saying that you give somebody a free pass, but they could claim that you committed a crime with one and you didn't, but it's your word against theirs. And now they can use that severity of law to take away all your... So let's say you get pulled over for speeding and you've got a gun in the car, but there's no law that says you can't carry a gun in a car, open, concealed, whatever.
You're missing what I'm getting at is if you commit a crime with the firearm.
Right. You got pulled over for speeding and he said, the guy pointed a gun at me. You didn't even take it out of your holster. It's your word against his. Who do you think is going to win in court? Congratulations, you just committed a crime with a gun, but you didn't. But there's always going to be a backdoor way, no matter what you put out there, for them to try to find a way to take stuff away. It just does. There's always going to be.
And I agree with you to a point, AWAG. I do. But then I also can't shake the thought of, what happens if we've got, one person where, like me, let's say that one of my family members gets shot, they're in the wrong gas station at the wrong time or something. They get shot and the person who committed that crime gets caught, and they get put in prison for life without parole or multiple life sentences, whatever. And then your family member is home when somebody breaks in and they use a blunt object and club them to death, but no firearms were in use. And so they don't have as stiff of a sentence, but your family member is just as gone. I mean, I don't know. I don't disagree with stiff penalties for using a firearm to commit a crime, but I think that we just need stiffer penalties for crime altogether because criminals are not afraid of getting caught and going to jail. So I don't know what to do there either. I don't mean to, make it to where what is considered cruel and unusual. Yeah, we're not going there, but I wish that there was more incentive to follow the law, not break the law in general, because prisons are so overcrowded that people are aware that depending on what they do, they're going to get kind of either light sentences, get them out, or whatever, depends on the area. But I don't think that there's a magic wand that we can just wave and a perfect way to make it work.
No, there ain't.
All right, we got some comments out there on the Gun Channel side, so let me read those. So we're not looking at we're not playing to just the YouTube side. Rupan is saying, "I got my constable. Which Glock should I pick up with my new privilege?" Someone said go for a Glock 20, and I am actually thinking about it. Rupan, I'm not a Glock guy, so I'm not the person to ask. Maybe Squib is, though.
A Glock 20 is a 10mm variant, so I say get the Colt Delta Elite, and there's your 10mm. F that Glock. Just saying.
AWAC likes Comblock guns
Yes.
and Austrian guns. So
It's meh.
AWAC.
Austrian is meh with me.
Roll call, I know you own some Glocks, so go ahead and say it.
Rock out with
I
a
don't
Glock
own
out.
any Glocks.
No?
I don't own any Glocks, man. I own. Cindy owns a Glock. She's a Glock tard.
Back off of Gina.
Roll call lost all of his in a boating accident.
Yeah.
No, I own a bunch of Taurus firearms, and then I own some Walthers, and then some military surplus. I keep it real, man. Keep it real.
All right. Well, there's your answer, Jared. He says the Delta Elite's not on the list. Well, go for 1911.
Delta Elite is a 1911.
No, don't go for 10mm. Go for 45. That'll be on the list.
If you want a 10mm, and if you like Glock, and if you've got big enough hands to hold on to that bigger grip frame, go for it. I've known several people that swear by 10mm and carried a Glock 20 as a duty weapon and liked it. If that's what you're into, do it. If that's not what you're into, then don't. But what do we know? We're not you.
Yeah.
10mm is
Enrique out there
expensive.
Enrique out there is saying
45 is cheaper.
Okay. Enrique is saying politicians need a good guide for the PR handlers. Seriously, if the 2A movement could spend millions to pay PR firms to come up with true, believable campaigns and sustain their funding long term after several years, lefty PR will wear thin. Well, hey, good luck with that. I'm going to just continue shouting, shall not be infringed until someone listens.
Isn't the PR game as a whole kind of a left thing
It's
anyway?
I see the whole.
It is, but a right-wing PR person, again, those of us that are on the pro-gun side, PR, I mean, yeah, we want people to like us, and as a rule, we all get along, but I mean, we're not going to change our image or sell out or do it. The whole PR game is all about what can you do to remake yourself to where people will like you better. And as a community, we're not that type of people. We are who we are. We want freedom. We want the Constitution to be upheld. We're not changing that. And we're not going to give up our beliefs just because right now they are not as socially acceptable as what they once were. And so that's going to make it really hard for PR to come change anything, I think.
I agree.
Did you guys see that "Don't Tread on Me" fireworks?
No.
Thing was badass.
Yes. All right. There's that. Let's see what's going on the YouTube side.
Did you buy that roll call?
No, dude, it was in this kit. This kit was $1,149, but if you bought it, you got 2 more kits for free.
That's a drop in a
Cindy
bucket
said
for
no.
you, man.
No, Cindy's told me to go F myself.
What? Just
That's what I said.
Don't you have that in loose change in the car? Just go get that money out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Just checking
Local
the
223, everyone's favorite Gun Channels member, is saying, telling Rupan to go and get a G36. Yeah, I don't think that's available for him.
SL8, man.
Atypical Jake is just saying, get a Vector.
Just
Rupan.
get a Romanian PSL.
Come on. The Vector even takes Glock Max.
Romanian
There you go.
PSL is 7.62x54R. Just
it's not a handgun, dude.
it
not a
can
handgun.
be.
That would be kind of dumb.
All right, so I think it's about time on that note, guys. Let's start wrapping it up and closing up shop. Hey, Wag, you got anything you want to plug?
Check out GunTube.
I'm
I'm
working
there.
on GunTube right now, so
But still, check it out.
check it out. Check it out once I have it back up.
Maximum checkage.
All right. Roll
Thank you.
call.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, thanks for having me, Night Strike. You can check me out on YouTube, Instagram, and at Roll Call 219. And then on Sunday mornings at this point for morning roll call with my other host, Night Strike, if he wants to wake up in the morning that early. And we'll have a blast and we'll get your day started right.
All right. Then we have Sandhill Shooter. Go ahead. Self-promote.
Thank you for letting me join again tonight. You can find me right here most of the time on Hit or Miss, Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. You can usually catch me Saturday mornings on the Travis P11's show, Caliber Corner. That's Saturday, 8 o'clock a.m. Central Time. You can find me in all the normal places under Sandhill Shooter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, guntube.org, gunchannels.com, all the normal hangouts that we go to. Apparently, my latest video I posted up on YouTube, I got a little wound up, according to Squib. So go check that out. Give me some feedback. I'd love to hear comments, good or bad. And if you've got friends who don't agree with the Second Amendment, share it with them and have them comment. I'd love to have that.
And if they still don't believe in the Second Amendment after that, unfriend them on Facebook.
That's right. Because you don't need that kind of negativity.
Because your rights to believe in the Second Amendment shall not be infringed.
I like that. Maximum likeage.
All right. Squib, self-promote. I know you got something.
I don't want to self-promote. My videos suck. I've got more of them in the pipe that aren't complete and probably never will get around to doing.
Maximum likeage.
I weasel onto shows because, that's my thing. And everybody, just do yourself a favor. Don't get a Glock. Get yourself a nice 1911 or high power, and you'll be fine. So, happy Independence Day, everyone.
Yeah, freedom!
America!
America! All right. So, yeah, check me out on Facebook, Twitter. What else? YouTube. Check out GunTube once I get it back up. Right now, I'm in the middle of a pain in the ass with GunTube right now. It's not working. I'm fixing it right now. Anyways, yeah. That's about it, I think. Also, check me out on Instagram. There you go. So, with that, thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss.
Bye, Felicia.
Shall not be infringed. Come on, somebody else say something.
Give him the bird.
Something.
All right, we'll see you on the next one.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn, you Brandon.